get that revenge, then I'll be aiming at that head again. So then they can't deny me. But there are fights that I've been asking for a long time and I've been denied. I don't know. You gotta ask the company about that. Do you think Trout jabs was quicker than you expected? What do you think about his power? Tito 235. Do you think the Trout's jab was quicker than you? And what was expected or than you expected? What do you think about his power? His power wasn't, I didn't feel power on the punch. He felt strong physically. Physically, like in the clinch, he felt very strong. He grabbed onto my wrist, which is illegal. It was in the rules meeting that you're not supposed to grab onto the wrist, and he continued to do that. And the ref kept separating it every time we went in the clinch where I can try to work my clinch work. So it didn't happen. Was I surprised about how quick the jab was? We knew he had a quick jab. This is a high-level, two-time WBA former world champion. We knew that he had a very good jab. He did have very good speed on it. But not to take nothing away from him, is there is such a thing as ring rust. And my timing was completely off. I couldn't get myself off. So more than his speed, it was my timing that was off, to be honest with you. J619, champ, other than ring rust, what did Trout do to surprise you? His strength surprised me. Not in the punching. The punching, I ate punches and I didn't really feel phased. I didn't feel rocked, not even in the push that they counted as a knockdown. I didn't have no rock feeling, like dizziness. I didn't have none of that. But in the clinch, he felt really strong. That was the only thing that surprised me. And another thing I could say, he had more of a dog in him than I expected. Even though he was playing his point game and just, conservative. And, I was the one chasing the challenger, if you notice. I'm going to read your comment because you have to appreciate the haters. JDOS. Why didn't you pressure him, bro? Nobody wants the tracksuit anymore. How about this? Come to my gym and show me how to pressure him. Young Tigers Foundation, South Miami. Wait for you on that. That boy Breeze. What do you think went wrong last night? Like I'm telling you, man, it's ring rust. It's the timing off. They've been fighting me every 7 months for the last 2-3 fights. And I've said since day one when I came into the company, inactivity is my worst enemy. Inactividad es mi peor enemigo. Yo estaba diciéndolo desde que entré a esta compañía. Cuando yo comencé y peleé seguido, le di shows a todo el mundo y gané a todo el mundo. Y después me comenzaron a dar 2 peleas al año, después una pelea al año. When I was fighting in the beginning and I was fighting back to back, I was beating everybody, no problem. I was in a flow. But at 43, you can't have a grown-ass man with grown-ass bills sitting down for 7 months, man. That's my worst enemy, not the fighters that I'm facing. So what went wrong? My timing was off. That's what went wrong. Saludos de Los Ángeles, Chile. Ahora aprender a entrenar MMA y escuchar desde... Leo Iraíra. Mi tiempo de MMA se han acabado hace mucho tiempo, pero nunca digo que no. Nunca sabes lo que viene por ahí. Saludos Jason. Joan, ¿cuándo vienes para Perú? Joan, estoy en eso. Todavía no tengo fecha, pero lo voy a avisar antes de llegar para allá. Pero sí voy. Yo creo que este mismo mes voy para allá. Trespa. Chapatín, have a good one too, man. Ronald Rojas, good question. What's the plan ahead for the rematch? The plan is very simple. Stay active. If the organization tells me I'm going to be pressuring the organization this time, like pressure. I contacted David Feldman this morning. I asked him, I told him, look, nobody has done what I've done in the company. 9-0, 6 title defenses. I deserve a rematch right away. It was in my contract, in the last contract before I fought, when I was supposed to fight him in the first time, and the fight didn't happen, and I didn't add it in the contract, but you're a man of your word, and we agreed on that in the past. I need my rematch. He says he likes the idea, and we're going to be talking next week. So depending on the time frame, the plan is very simple. Stick to the game plan that we got to, except for execute the game plan. And we didn't execute, and that's because of the ring rust, man. There's nothing else I can tell you about that. Once you have him, one thing is to spar, one thing is to train, another thing is being inside there. Feeling that pressure, feeling that vibe. If you don't get your timing off, then you're gonna be in a long night. And that's what happened to me. I couldn't get my timing off. By the time I turned on the high gear, it was too late. Diego Ceballos, revancha, tiene que venir. Joan, vamos campeón. Jose Juarez, knock ya out, homie. A knockout happens when you're knocked out and you go to sleep. Not when you get pushed and get up. I love you, haters.
Yeah, I love you, haters.
Nauriz, gracias, mano, gracias. Esta es mi base, esta es la razón por la que yo estoy en donde estoy ahora en esta edad. Es mi apoyo total. Y para Argentina, como digo, ¿no? Que me contacte de cualquier parte del mundo que quiera un seminario, quiera que pase por allá, con la que me cubran el vuelo y la estadía, podemos hablar. Hi, Brower. Nobody cares about Tony, man. Nobody does, bro. Rico, thank you, brother. Love.
Well, this is a good question. Before dub, why didn't you start swinging till last round?
Before dub, why didn't you start swinging till last round? Why so long since your last fight? That's the question. So, in the question, you get your own answer. You say, why didn't you start swinging till the last round? And then you ask, why so long since your last fight? It's precisely because it's been so long since my last fight that my timing was off.
But he's asking, why was it so long? Like, why couldn't you?
That is not in my control. I've been pressuring, and I was supposed to fight in November, and they didn't give me the fight. That right there, you have to ask David Feldman, Bkfc, why? Why are we keeping the pound for pound not active? Why is it taking 7 months to get him a fight? You know what I'm saying? So that's a question for the organization. God bless you too, Scott. Was Trout more difficult for you than Lily? It was very difficult. I was like more like one-handed in that fight. I don't know if you guys know about my hand injury, but was Trout more difficult? I would say so. Yes, I would say so. I mean, you're talking about a mastery of glove boxing of how many years. When you face people like Canelo, like Miguel Cotto, like the Charlo brothers, when you have those type of names behind you, you know, it's a certain level of experience that you have to deal with. You know what I mean? So you have to be on your toes to be able to deal with that adversary. You know, and it just wasn't my night. He was a better night. It was a better man last night. But I still don't believe that he's a better fighter. So we'll show that in the rematch. J619, champ, do you still want to fight Eddie after this performance against Perry? Oh, after his performance against Perry. Look, the names like Eddie Alvarez, the names like Mike Perry, those are the names that I want to fight. And to be honest with you, my take on the fight with Eddie Alvarez and Perry, Eddie Alvarez was winning every minute of the fight until the dog and Perry connected, like I called it before the fight even happened. Until the dog and Perry connected, it started hurting him. And Eddie stopped moving around. But I always said it. The dog and Perry is bigger. The boxing skill in Eddie is higher. So to answer the question, I still would love to fight both of them. From Afghanistan, what's up, Farzid? What's up, my brother? For the dumb questions, I'm sorry, man. I'm not gonna waste everybody's time with them. Cinco Esencia. Luis, eres una leyenda. Que nadie te discuta. Que nadie te discuta eso. Abrazo, manito. Lo sabemos. B4 Dub. you would have won if you fought like the last round. 1,000% agree with you, man. I completely agree with you. That was the game plan. The game plan was to come in and assert the pressure and put in the high pace, and my conditioning was amazing. Like, I felt good. My timing was not. My timing was off. I couldn't get off how I wanted to. What I was thinking wasn't coming out. And that's ring rust. I'm always going to say it's ring rust, and I can show it if I get this fight, this rematch, right away. Where's Willie Wash? You should have knocked that fool out last night. Should have, could have, and I would have if I would have put my game plan down.